Imagine a city that has already ceased to exist, not partially destroyed, not damaged, erased. The factories, rubble. The hospitals, rubble. The apartment blocks where families once lived, rubble. The streets no longer lead anywhere. The doors no longer open into homes. Everything that once had a purpose is now broken into pieces. And yet, inside that silence, men are still fighting, not retreating, not surrendering, fighting, meter by meter, floor by floor, wall by wall. And somewhere in that ruin, one man is not moving at all. 4 hours. He hasn't moved for 4 hours. His breathing is controlled, slow, measured. His body pressed into cold debris, his fingers steady on the rifle. His eyes are fixed on a single gap in a collapsed wall, 70 meters away. He has already calculated everything: the wind, the light, the angle, the possibility of error, reduced to zero. He waits. Because in this city, the man who moves first dies first. His name is Vasily Zaitsev, and before the war, he hunted rabbits. This is not just a story about a man with a rifle. This is a story about how one man, in a dead city, forced an entire army to slow down. He was born in the Ural Mountains, a place where survival wasn't taught, it was expected. Winter there was not a season. It was a test. At 12, he was given a rifle, not as a gift, as a responsibility. If you missed, you didn't eat. If you rushed, you went hungry. If you made noise, you scared away the only chance you had. So he learned silence, stillness, control. In the Urals, you didn't hunt for sport. You hunted to eat. You learned to read the snow, tracks, direction, speed. You learned to see what others missed: broken branches, disturbed ground, shadows that didn't belong. You learned to wait, because waiting meant living. By the time he was a teenager, he didn't miss. Not sometimes, not often. He didn't miss. Later, he became an accountant: numbers, records, order. Then a sailor, stationed far from war. Far from everything. Routine replaced instinct. Structure replaced survival. But when Germany invaded, everything changed. He asked to go to the front. They said no. He asked again. No. A third time. Still no. He kept asking, because somewhere inside him, the hunter was still there. On the fourth request, they let him go. He left behind safety. He left behind distance. He walked towards something he couldn't yet understand. He was walking toward Stalingrad. By the time he arrived, the city was gone. No streets, no safe zones, no front lines, just fragments. Above you, the enemy. Below you, your allies. And between you, a staircase no one wanted to climb, because whoever moved first didn't come back. The air itself felt dangerous. Every opening was a risk, every shadow a possibility. General Chuikov made a decision, a desperate one. Stay close, closer than anyone thought possible. So close that artillery became useless. So close that distance stopped existing. They called it hugging the enemy. It meant constant contact, constant pressure, constant awareness, no rest, no distance, no escape. In that kind of war, machines lost their power. Tanks couldn't maneuver. Planes couldn't strike cleanly. Artillery couldn't fire freely. Everything that defined modern war became limited. And in that environment, the smallest unit mattered most. A single soldier, a single position, a single shot. And when distance disappears, the sniper becomes everything. He crossed the Volga at night. The river was alive with explosions, water rising into the air, boats shaking under impact, men packed tightly, too tightly, no room to move, no room to react, only one direction, forward. Some didn't make it. Some fell into the water. Some never reached the shore. Some were hit before they even saw land. But the boats kept coming, because the city needed men, and he was one of them. He stepped onto the western bank. into a world where survival was no longer expected. It was earned. Within his first week, 3 shots, 3 kills, no hesitation, no wasted movement, just precision. They noticed him immediately, because in a place like Stalingrad, skill stands out. He was given a better rifle, a scope, a spotter, and a mission, not to hold ground, not to advance, to hunt. He moved through the ruins like he had always been there. A wall wasn't a barrier, it was an opportunity. Rubble wasn't destruction, it was protection. He adapted faster than the war could change. He understood something instinctively. The moment you are seen, you're already dead. So he disappeared. He became part of the environment, part of the silence, part of the city itself. And then, others began to disappear too. But he wasn't just killing. He was teaching, passing on what he knew: patience, stillness, timing, observation. He trained others to see the way he saw, to think the way he thought. They called them the little hares, students of the hunt. And they spread, through basements, through broken buildings, through every part of the line. Dozens became hundreds. Positions multiplied, angles multiplied, threats multiplied. And suddenly, it wasn't one sniper, it was many, watching, waiting, hunting. The battlefield changed, not visibly, but psychologically. His numbers grew: 50, 100, 150, over 200. Each number, a decision. Each decision, a life. But the number didn't matter. What mattered was what it did to the enemy. German soldiers changed their behavior. They moved differently. They hesitated. They avoided exposure. They avoided light. They avoided movement. Because somewhere, someone was watching, and they knew it. And then, something shifted. German snipers disappeared. Positions left empty. Angles uncovered. Not defeated. Removed. Then came the report. A new sniper had arrived. Not an ordinary soldier. A specialist. A teacher. A man trained to do exactly what Zaitsev did. His name, Major Erwin König. His mission, find Zaitsev. Kill him. End the pattern. Restore control. 3 days. No shots, no movement. Just 2 men. Thinking, calculating, waiting. König set traps. Carefully, deliberately. A glove raised above rubble. A small movement. A test. Waiting for instinct. Waiting for reaction. Zaitsev saw it and did nothing. Because this was no longer about shooting. It was about understanding. He studied the environment, the angles, the patterns. If he were König, where would he be? Where would he choose to hide? Where would he expect someone else to make a mistake? The city became a puzzle, and both men were solving it. On the 3rd day, a mistake appeared. Small, almost invisible, light reflecting off glass, in a place where nothing should reflect. Zaitsev didn't react immediately. He confirmed. Once, twice. He let the moment settle. Then he raised a helmet, slowly, carefully. The shot came instantly, fast, precise. The helmet snapped back, and in that moment, everything aligned. One position, one angle, one man. Zaitsev fired, one shot. Silence, no movement, no second chance. The duel ended, without words. Whether it happened exactly this way is still debated. Stories change, details shift, records disagree, but the effect was real. Because when the story spread, something changed. Not in strategy, not in orders, in belief. In a war defined by scale, one individual became proof. Proof that control still mattered, that precision still mattered, that a single decision could still change something. In January 1943, an explosion nearly ended his life. Shrapnel. Close enough. His vision damaged. For a sniper, that should have been the end. He was evacuated, operated on, days of uncertainty, days where everything could have stopped. But it didn't. He recovered, and he returned. Because some people don't stop. even when they should. On February 2nd, the battle ended. The German Sixth Army surrendered. What remained walked into captivity. The rest never left. The city held them. Stalingrad lasted 199 days, nearly 200 days of constant destruction, constant pressure, constant loss. And when it ended, nothing was the same. Not the city, not the war, not the people who survived it. He survived, built a life after, worked, raised a family, lived long enough to see the world change again, long enough to see the system that created him disappear. Before he died, he made one request: to return to the place where everything happened. They buried him there, in the city that no longer exists, but never truly disappeared. Today, his rifle sits in a museum, still, silent. But that's not what matters. What matters is what it represents. Because in Stalingrad, millions fought, armies moved, strategies failed, entire divisions disappeared. But in the end, everything came down to something smaller. One man, one decision, one moment, where hesitation meant death.